You guys just have that precise strike you got to hit.
One day.
That's it.
Yeah. I don't even know what you want to call it. You want to call it association?
Yeah, things like that. And then, with those new guidelines and everything, we got to be really careful about that.
And the more horses you have, it must be even more difficult.
I would imagine, yeah.
If you're wrong, then you sacrifice 3 races.
Yeah, that could happen. It has happened.
Welcome to Leading the Way with HartleyDerenzo and Jose D'Angelo, John Terranova, 2 trainers currently in New York, but train in a lot of other states as well. But here we are at the Spa at Saratoga. We're going to talk about racing. You guys are way better at it than Randy and I. We take them to one level, and you guys have to take them to the next level.
We take them through high school. You gotta take them on the rest of the way.
Tell us about the role of jockeys, because we just have a breeze rider. Now you guys have all different riders to your horses at different times, at different races, different horses. Tell us about the role of the jockey involved in the win or the loss of a race.
All right, yeah. I mean, we all different levels of jockeys, and now obviously New York's got a deep colony. They got some of the best in the country right now riding here. So we get to choose some pretty talented guys and girls.
You do. Yeah.
Riding these days. So obviously you want to get the best guy. You get a little pressure for some owners. Sometimes they want to ride this name, that name, whatever.
Yeah, how hard is that to deal with?
That can be, because there's some talented young guys that just don't get the chance. So in my barn, I mean, we like to use a lot of guys, a lot of young up-and-coming guys. I mean, listen, Irad and Jose, we were riding them when they were bug riders.
Really?
And
Jose's here?
You could tell, these guys were going to be good. I mean, I think Jamie Torres right now is a very good rider right now in New York, very good apprentice. He's got a shot. Jose Gomez just lost his bug. We used him a lot this past couple of years. Had a lot of success with him. So, guys like that, I like to see those younger, hungrier guys. And then, of course, when it comes down to it, you got the big money riders, the professional guys that, they're just like icemen out there.
Yeah.
On certain days.
Now, do you want
them in a certain position, in a certain spot.
Do you have to match them up with a certain horse, the different riders?
I think so. Sometimes you need to fill it out and see who fits best, Sometimes you just have your go-to guys and they can adapt. And I always like to give a guy a couple of chances or a few chances on a horse, because they get to know him too. We all make mistakes with the horses, training him, riding them, this and that.
Yeah.
I'd rather not a fresh guy every time just because something went wrong in one race. That's a big deal for us. I want them to figure out what they can do better with each horse each time.
So then if you're wrong, then you sacrifice 3 races.
Yeah, that could happen. It has happened. So
that's not fun, is it?
But then I just look at, maybe this horse just isn't right.
Blame it on the horse.
I'm running him in the wrong spot. That's mostly it.
Jose's second year here at Saratoga, so at least when you're in the winter in Florida, you got a really good, deep colony, as John called it, of jockeys, and it's even deeper here at Saratoga. How do you like that? What role does it play in your barn?
It's very, very important, the rider. Also, when you have 2 types of horses, like when you have claiming horses and when you have babies that you are making the babies.
Yeah.
Because when you have your exercise rider, you know how work each one. Hey, with this guy, the horse go fast. With this guy, always go slow, but he don't let run, but he has a good opinion on the horse. So you was knowing your people, your exercise rider, and you was working with the horse. But when you are prepping a horse to a race, some horses you don't want to go too fast, because when they go too fast, they don't run good at the afternoon.
Right.
So you have to know the rider too, the jockey. So sometimes you claim a horse and you start to improve at the horse, fixing all the problems that he has. And you bring the top rider, like he says, you put on the horse, and he worked 47.
Yeah.
The horse is done again. You have to restart again, regroup, and fix again the horse and make him happy again. So when you are making babies, it's so different between the other kind of horses. So that's very important. How the guy worked before the race, if you want to give the chance. And after run the horse, like he said, I rather give the horse 3 times and hey, he don't gonna make the same mistake on the race before, so he gonna win. So that's very important, and you have to know the rider and your exercise rider too, to see where you are with the horse and where you want to go.
For us, we don't really breeze our horses at the farm because they're young, and all we do is kind of 2-minute lick them and get them ready, and we just get them fit enough. When we get to the sale, our jock has never been on the horse ever. First time ever on the horse. And we have the best success that way when they don't know anything about a horse and they just stay out of the horse's way. Because I feel like sometimes they can get in the way if they think, oh, this one's a little green, I'm going to try and manhandle it a little more. Or this one's tough, so I'm going to get a hold of it. So they never get on a horse for us until for us it's race day.
Yeah, and for us, our exercise riders, I mean, they're just so important to what we do because, they're the ones that are teaching the horse, and it's just we couldn't make it without them.
And his opinion of each guy.
You guys have had exercise riders that have probably been with you for years and years, and
one
you
of the
trust
most
their
important
opinion.
things,
When they get off the horse in the morning, just from galloping the horse, they can tell you a little something about the horse or whatever.
Trying to find the good exercise people and keeping them and having them on those horses consistently, and working with those horses, that's a big deal.
How many riders do you have? Exercise riders do you have?
We've got 5 right now.
5.
Yeah, 5 full-time riders.
Really?
Yeah.
How about you, Jose?
Here, 2 exercise riders in New York.
Yeah.
Because of small operation. In Florida, 10 because in Florida you cannot work so late. If you work late, you are done.
It's too hot.
Yeah, it's too hot.
You have to have
you
a
guys
big
gotta hurry up.
8:30, I am ready.
Yeah.
So everybody's eating.
Yeah. It's a little hot there.
Yes.
And John, how many years have you been training here in New York?
We came back here in, I grew up in New York, but we came back here in '93. So
a long time.
Looking at 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
How could you be training here for 30 years when you're 35 years old? You started at 5 years old?
I am 35. I just turned 35 last Wednesday. So,
wow.
just reverse that.
30 years. So you know all the ins and outs of Saratoga racetrack.
Oh, yeah. I've been coming up here since I was 9 years old with my family. My dad had racehorses and stuff growing up. So it was just the August place to be, the 4 weeks. Quick trip. Half the summer was down Long Island. Second half was up here.
What about you, Jose? It's only second year here.
Yes, I started him. My first year in Saratoga was with one horse, Jesus Justino, running the Gene Dandy. We ran third on the 2020.
All right.
2021st, I just ran one time. And the last year we won 2 races. And this year completely we have a barn here.
And it's been good. I watched one of ours win by 9.5 lengths. Yeah. So that was pretty.
That was good.
That was pretty fun.
Yes.
Like
I bet
that.
Tom was excited.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So you guys get the real look of horses because you're in the barn working with them every single day and have them for a long period of time. So you get them in all shapes and sizes, toed in, toed out. Offset knees, not the perfect horse on that. When you see those horses for the first time, do you think, this may not be a racehorse? Does it have to be so perfect conformation-wise for you to really believe in the horse first? Or do you just watch the horse train and get a better feel of them?
I think the way they move through it on the track, I got plenty of crooked horses in the barn that just float out there over the ground.
And don't get hurt.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, we kind of go through that at the sales and the ones that come to us and stuff like that and picking them out as babies. We know what we're getting into.
Yeah.
And it's basically the development process, how they come along. And once they start that heavy training, then you put the squeeze on them and then you see there's a weak spot here, weak spot there. But then we give and take, back off a little bit. And see
then
if they
correct
make it
ones.
through.
And correct ones have the weak spots also.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of them got them somewhere at some point. Some come out more often than others, and some never do. But it's just the ones once you start to squeeze them, you know when to back off, when to not. And some of those offset horses, they make it through as they develop. You just got to mature a little bit slower.
Yeah, I'm sure you read up on all the articles that are out now and about what they think about sesamoiditis and what they thought about stifle OCDs in the past and what they're thinking about it now, how they're thinking it's not near as important as they thought it was. Prior to, I'm sure you guys stay up on all that stuff. When you get them in, you really don't know what they have, do you? You don't x-ray them.
No, I mean, unless we see a problem or a little bit of a
Right,
change
right,
going on
right.
somewhere, a lot of times we'll check their knees here and there, see, we got late foals. And we kind of, that's the other thing too. We know we got a January foal, we got a May foal.
Right.
Right.
Even got a couple of June foals right now that are really late. They're not even really breezing up yet. They're little short ones and stuff like that, but they're going to be winter horses, late in the year 2-year-olds at the earliest. And so we kind of know that. We just go by that anyways. But as far as all that, yeah, we don't know what they have or if there's sesamoiditis or what's going on. We just kind of try and read the signs the best we can and know what we're dealing with at the time, what they're up to and what they're ready for. They kind of tell us. If you watch them enough, you're with them every day. They tell us what they're ready for.
I mean, we know what our horses look like when we get them in our barn because we buy them, we x-ray them. We know what they have, what they don't have, and if we think we need to give them a little bit of time because we know they have a little bit of sesamoiditis that will, eventually, close over and be fine. We may wait on. But really, to be honest, we don't nearly have the issues that you guys have because we're not going that far. And, and we have to be ready at a certain time, a certain day with our horses, and you guys really don't have to be ready for that day because you'll have something else coming up eventually pretty soon to be able to run in that would be similar to what you were looking at.
You guys just have that precise strike you got to hit.
One day.
That's it.
Yeah. So we know what sales
Hit
are
the
going to go to.
bullseye.
We try to get them to peak exactly for that particular day, whether it be 3 or 5. Well, we're pretty small in consignment, so we never have 50 that we have to worry about or something like that. I mean, we don't train but 20 head for the whole year.
That's plenty.
It's like he say, like in my case it's like two trainers. Like when we go to the sale, we are trying to get the horse perfect, good X-rays,
Right.
good,
Yeah.
good conformation because why you have to deal after. But when the horse arrives to the barn, you forget everything.
Yeah.
You
Right,
have to,
right.
Hey,
You don't see them.
Yeah.
forget the X-rays, try to work. Sometimes you bought a horse that has all the X-rays work terrible, and the horse don't know nothing.
Yeah,
and
he's
he
fine.
running 5 years and
Oh, we've had
nothing.
plenty of
And
those.
then you get one that
Yes,
X-rays perfect and he has.
He's always
yeah.
painful. So, that's why when they arrive to the barn, you have to forget and see at the track, see walking and make plans with him and make him at the best as you can.
They do surprise you. We had a filly one time that they told us don't break her till she's 3 because she's got more issues than you really need to know about, and just kind of leave her be. And we said, well, she's going to get broke and go on with, and we'll just see how it goes. And she broke her maiden at Keeneland, a 2-year-old year, in April.
Wow.
And she went easy. Her next start was against the boys in the Three Chimneys on Derby Day, and she beat Posse and Zavada and win that stake, the Three Chimneys. And she went on to make $500,000, and her throat
Ended up being her problem.
had
and
nothing to
her
do with
legs
her
were fine.
X-rays. As a 2-year-old graded stakes winner, we eventually sold her for $2,350,000 as a broodmare.
Her first foal was a Grade 1 winner, a filly named 7th
Just
Street.
her.
Yeah, and a second foal,
Second foal.
and her
was-
third foal.
Yeah.
So she just kept going. But isn't that crazy? So here's one that they said, just wait on it. Just let it grow through all this stuff. And she didn't know she had it.
Her first foal was 7th Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
She had,
Ronaldo
the 7, she had that mark on her.
Yeah.
Ronaldo the
I
Wizard
remember when
was
she was
the
at the
second
2-year-old
one.
sale.
Yeah.
I think that we were still.
She brought $1 million.
We still called her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
fast
Yeah,
exit-
John
yeah.
Stevens had
John
it.
Stevens.
We
Yeah.
sold her. We sold it for $100,000
As a yearling.
As a
Yeah.
yearling, right? Yeah.
As a yearling, yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
Darley bought her? Or?
Dolly bought it for $1 million.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she produced a Grade 1 winner too
Yeah.
by Bernardini.
She produced 2 Grade
Yeah.
1 winners, 7th Street. Yeah.
Great family, yeah.
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 I remember that sale. I remember with that mark on her.
Yeah.
With the 7.
I'm not sure we
Yeah.
really need to be concerned about all that little stuff anymore, really, after all the years, 32 years for Randy and I, 35 years here in New York
Well,
for
yeah.
John. Well, I can't say 31 because you wouldn't have been born yet.
I did start in California, though, for a couple of years, and then I came back here.
You did. You started in California.
Yeah. So I got my trainer's license in 92.
Oh, you did. That's the year.
That's
you
what year we
started,
started. In business. So
in Santa Anita.
all the years of looking at stuff, probably none of the injuries, and I don't know this for a fact, that you think were going to happen because the X-rays actually happened. Other things may have happened, for the horse, or they just can't make the cut. They just didn't run hard enough, I'm sure you have plenty of those too.
Oh, sure.
That's what they call the claiming horses, and they just move down the ranks instead of up the ranks. That's okay too, though.
And Jose, you started training here in the States in what year?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
So that was like right before COVID.
I started like months ago.
Right
started
away,
COVID,
yeah.
Yes.
Really?
I get my best horse here named Jesus thing. I start travel all the country with him with the COVID time, so it was crazy.
Wow.
Airplanes with 10 people.
So what was, what were you thinking about that? Here you are, come to the United States.
You got here, and he's like, now you can't leave.
Oh, well, hey,
COVID's going on. You got a great horse, and I mean,
was crazy because the thing like I learned like all the things of this country with this horse because in Venezuela you get your license and you can run everywhere, and here you have to get a license for
in every state, in every track,
the seals have to be different. So every track that I went, you have to do that the pre-race different, the build 48 hours, everything different. So I learned with this horse. I think it was a good plan for God, like you're gonna learn the good things,
And didn't make any mistakes.
Any mistakes. All was perfect.
Oh,
he brought me to all the dance. We danced all the parties, and all was perfect. And I learned everything. And the next year, I started moving more horses.
There's all kinds of opinions about that, getting licenses at every track. That why can't it be just universal? If you're a licensed trainer,
Same rules everywhere.
Yeah, but sometimes no works. The license from Kentucky, what is the name? The Encompass license. No matter that you have to go to the place and.
Yeah, some places don't take that.
Right, so then it's not really one that goes that way. It's kind of, the rules have been a little bit hectic here for you guys, and it's probably going to be for us too with our new. I don't even know what you want to call it. You want to call it an association?
My first million race, the Haskell, I forgot the seals of the jockey for the owner.
You did what?
He forgot
When I see it right
in the Haskell?
All that other stuff.
The guy come from the house seals say, hey, Jose.
Those are my silks.
Sub-silks,
And the grade one.
They're lucky sometimes.
Yeah, really.
A lot of times.
I said,
Where did you finish? Fourth. You see, if he'd had his real silks on, he probably would have won.
Maybe. Who knows what that happened?
You guys have to deal with HISA now, and it's pretty difficult because I think they're making a lot of changes. Their rules change every day, and you don't know whether they're going to change the rule or not change the rule because they're really not set up for it. And it's supposed to be for the welfare of the horses. That's a whole nother podcast show about HISA, but it's tough jumping through the hoops of things that you're not used to because you're used to taking care of a horse in a certain way, whatever needs the horse needs to have to care for the horse in a humane way, and they're not allowing you to care for the horses that way. How do you go about doing that every day? How do you run a stake horse without Lasix, but you can run a claiming horse with Lasix? Do they not care about the other horse as much as they, if they say Lasix is not good, so they take it away for the stake horses, but that means they don't care about the other horse? To me, it's a little bit confusing, and it's real controversial, I know, and you guys have to live with it, but you know what? I think we all get through it, maybe when they learn how to be a horseman.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that.
That's a shot in the dark. When I shot in the hip, I said...
I mean, we haven't changed anything we've done because we just always taken good care of the horses, and that's it. So
right.
everything.
Except for
I'm
Lasix.
not worried about anything.
Except for
The only thing is the Lasix thing.
Right.
Yeah, which, hey, horses bleed. They need Lasix.
Yeah, and you can't give
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And you can't
New
give
York,
it in a stake.
Well, New York,
No, I mean, it should be all or nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
It basically,
Right.
And I think
One
all
way
the
or the
rules
other.
should be the same at every racetrack. That's one thing I feel like if everybody could get together and that everything be the same. We had a horse get scratched.
Everybody's got the same interest, so
Yeah.
why not?
We
Yeah.
had a horse get scratched here in New York because our trainer from California give the horse some oral something in the.
Wendy's, you
In
buy
the-
over the counter.
Oh yeah.
It was
In the receiving barn, and he wasn't allowed to bring anything in the receiving
scratched
barn.
our horse right there, and he was the favorite for the stake. And our
was-
partners wanted to fire the trainer because they were upset about the horse. They were sitting there they flew in to watch the horse run, and Dean and I were like, "Look, this
Yeah,
guy's
it's a tough spot. Yeah.
trying to do the best thing for the
Having that
horse." So
happen.
So how do you learn about those? How do you learn about all the different rules?
It's hard, especially now. Like for so
You
many
ask your friend,
trainers-
right?
So
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
so many trainers get suspended about the new rule that if you inject the horse, you cannot breed in 7 days. So
Right.
it's hard because you have to know every day like all the things new and not get fined or suspended for nothing that before was normal to do and now the game changed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
have to change your plans a little bit and I don't know how to explain like if you inject the horse you cannot wear the horse in 7 days, so some horse need workout close to a race,
Right.
some horse not,
So you gotta change
the
the
game
race.
change and gonna
Yep.
change the results too.
yeah, things like that, and then with those new guidelines and everything, we got to be really careful about that. But
And the more horses you have, it must be even more
I
difficult.
would imagine, yeah,
Yeah.
you really got to rely on and have great help and great assistance and everybody else that's communicating and stuff like that. Because I'll hand it to those guys that have 200, 300, 400 horses in training. I don't know how they do it.
Wonder if they don't
help.
stay in trouble all the time.
I applaud them for them
Yeah.
for doing that and not making any mistakes.
Right.
Right.
or-
So as
limiting.
professionals, though, I mean, how silly is it that you can't use omeprazole, something that helps a horse's
things like
stomach?
that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I gotta say that things like that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all in the common interest of
Of taking
doing
care of the horse
everything-
the right way,
yeah.
be the welfare for
just
the
like
animal.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or better.
Problems,
Or
we take care
better.
of ourselves.
In
It's
a
not
lot
like
of
we're hurting
cases.
Better than
ourselves, we're making
yourself, yeah.
ourselves better. I mean, right? People are living longer. Everybody's advancing technology, science,
Right.
this and that.
Right.
Yeah, anything performance enhancing. Obviously, things like that are.
Well,
and
feed is
pain
performance enhancing.
blocking,
You know,
stuff like that.
good
but-
alfalfa is performance enhancing, and so is grain.
Absolutely. Good gut, good probiotics, good
Yeah.
immune system.
So everything is performance
Take care of
enhancing.
that, and they're gonna perform to their best.
And you guys
You
are
know.
performance enhancing to the horse when you train them the right way.
I think so.
They perform a better way. I mean, so that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a fine line, and I'd hate to be in your shoes, to be honest. But
It's
you
tough,
probably
'cause
look
there's
at
good-
us and say the same thing after we drop a $500,000 or
Oh,
$1
with the
million
two-
on a horse, and then we have to send it to you, and we put you guys in the hot seat. All right, now you make them the racehorse we thought they were supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah.
How's that
Well,
feel, Jose? He
Hey.
just got a few horses that cost 6, 7, 800,000 a piece.
Nice.
Real horses, so hey, is for sure it's little pressure, to
Pressure.
to
Yeah,
you want to do the things not good, just more than good, perfect, and it's the opportunity. In my case, it's the opportunity I have to, because the competition at this country is tough. Sometimes you have a horse that you think that the horse is good and the horse is training like a beast and doing so good. When you go into these races, the great ones, you need the pedigree,
yeah.
So
Well, only advice I have as an old man to a young guy is don't treat him anything different. They don't know how much they cost. You
Yeah.
treat them like a horse the best way they need to be treated, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And, don't worry about getting into the races anytime sooner. Whenever they're ready, they're ready. If
That's
it's
true.
soon or if it's late, whatever it is, right? John? I
You
mean-
start overthinking it, you make
Yeah,
mistakes.
right, exactly.
Yes.
So, I mean,
So-
horse is going to talk to you and tell you when
You
it
ride,
is,
you
huh?
ride that wave as it comes, and that's it, day by day.
How much you guys think pedigree is involved in your horses on the success of your horses?
No, I see the families that throw the runners.
Would you say
You know.
female side or sire side?
Female.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. How
Me
about you,
too,
Jose?
me
I
too.
mean-
I agree with him.
Yeah.
Female side 100%. Before, I don't believe too much on the pedigree. I believe more in the horse, in the heart, and the capacity. But when I started to getting horses here, and sometimes you get a horse from. I started on the claiming here. And sometimes you get a horse cheap for 10,000, and the horse breeds 46.
Yeah.
And you get a horse maiden with some pedigree, and the horse breeds 49.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a phenomenon, ain't it, John?
And you put them around together,
Yeah.
and the horse that worked
And
at
then
49,
you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
beat by 10 legs the other horse. And you say, hey, what happened here? The horse worked like a grade 1 horse, and that's you start to see.
That's the pedigree coming
that's
out.
the pedigree.
There definitely are those sires that can move up a lot of mares.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
No matter what. I mean, they just stand out. We've seen them over the years, going
For
back
sure.
Northern Dancer throughout
Yeah.
Danzig and his sons and everything like that. Now you got Gun Runner,
Yeah, a gun runner's
horses
done
like
it.
that.
And
I
move
mean, it
mares
just seems
up
like
and-
every one of them runs.
we
shows up.
small breeding operation that we've had over the years. We had a horse that would do that, and it was successful appeal. It didn't make no difference what you bred him to, and this
Oh,
son of
yeah.
a gun had runners, and he moved those mares up for sure on that, and
Yep.
that was pretty fun having that. Watching
They're
that.
honest at whatever level they
Yeah.
their
Right.
abilities
Yeah,
at.
you probably trained some of those successful appeals.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it was great talking with you guys. You guys have a tough job, but you're here at Saratoga, and there's no better place to be than Saratoga. So we're going to wrap this up. If you like what you just saw, keep us in mind for Leading the Way with HartleyDerenzo.